Last Sunday, I made a few foundational points regarding God's gift of alcohol. First was a warning against excesses and the tragic effects of over-imbibing. Second, talked about a definition of moderation, the amount and the way that you drink, that is tied up in the idea of the kind of drinking you do were you to do it with an understanding that God is with you. Moderation equals drinking as though God was right there. So last week I made up a story about the provenance of where people lift their glasses, and that somehow came from some Christian tradition where people would lift their glasses to God and say, thank you for the delight of this, and recognize and honor the presence of God. I have no idea if that's true, but it's true now. And thirdly, we reclaimed the truth that alcohol is indeed a gift, biblically a gift from God. The Bible clearly teaches that it is that. Jesus clearly drank and turned water into wine. There must therefore be a Christ-like, God-honoring way to drink. A God-glorifying, perfect way to drink. So this morning, we're going to explore those ways a little bit more, and more precisely, try to articulate and define and put words around what those good, gifted effects of alcohol are. So my questions, thinking about it this week, were, what is it about alcohol's effect that's good, God? And what do these good things say about you, God? So for the past month, I've been asking people, why do you drink? Or why do you think people drink? And a whole array of responses, all of which we will not be able to dive into this morning. One of my son's university science geek friends said that he drinks to collect the cool bottles and have nice stories the next morning. Dead serious. Science program. Did I mention a science? It was a science program. Another person on the other end of the scale says, I don't drink. I hate the taste. I can't stand alcohol. I have nothing against people drinking, nothing against alcohol. I can't drink it. For other people, it was all about the taste, you know, the smooth, rich sweetness of a Baileys, you know, or a great Argentinian Malbec. And God gave us our senses, and He made this world filled with sensual pleasures so that we can taste and see that He's good. So some, it was all about the taste, but we're not going to talk about taste primarily this morning, which was a huge problem for the guy that I was sitting across Thursday night at his place having dinner. He just paired an amazing red wine with the appetizer and then another amazing red wine with the entree, and it was beautiful and delicious, and the whole time I'm sort of hanging my head thinking he doesn't know that I'm not going to talk about taste this Sunday as being the #1 reason why God gifts us with alcohol. So I finally made my confession to him, and he laughed, he thought initially I was joking that I wouldn't talk about it, and then when he realized I wasn't joking, this incredulity sort of fell over his face, and I half expected him to get the little cardboard boxes and pack up our dinner and send us on our way. So no, not taste as a focus this morning, but these three things. One person answered the question, why do you drink, in an email with these words. This is an excerpt from his response. What I'm excited about is being able to share a drink with a friend. The knowledge that both parties are going to let down their guard a bit and enter into a more intimate conversation is very appealing to me. I met a Bulgarian guy who wanted to introduce me to a friend of his. I went over to his friend's house, and before we could visit, each of us had to take a shot of some Bulgarian liquor. Kind of a trust thing, I think, but it was multi-purposed. They offered me some of their best, a pinnacle of Bulgarian culture, and they showed me that they weren't going to hide anything, and neither was I. We didn't get drunk, but we were open. Would God give human beings something to help fuel and lubricate and authenticate our experiences of community? Knowing that we're all relationally broken, and we have these walls and these inhibitions and all kinds of things that keep us from being real with other people, fully cognizant of this spiritual sickness of sin's capacity to destroy and inhibit community, would God give us something to just begin, that would begin to open the door to letting our walls down and all those paralyzing fears of what are they going to think about me and all the other things that we get warped about? Just let those fall aside in moderation. But would that not be a gift from God for community? For you? For me? In the Bible, many times, there are great feasts that are spoken of. Religious feasts and wedding banquets, and almost all of them had open bars. These great community events that God saw fit to add alcohol to. These events, like all community on earth, meant, when they're done right and in a holy, true and holy way, community so full and so alive and so real that it even in some way reflects the nature of who God is. Perfect community. Father, Son, and Holy Spirit, uninhibited in the communal love and communication that happens between them. God is perfectly honest, always authentic, free. And so are our feasts done the right way, in moderation? Are they somehow emblematic, foreshadowings, pointers toward that nature of God? You, totally uninhibited before God. Totally able to be you and not always act the way you always do when you're scared or you don't know you can trust that person. Walls down, freely you, totally able to accept what a perfect God would give to you, and totally able to speak honestly and with all your heart, freely to that God. That would be heaven.